I've introduced legislation to make Nord Stream 2 sanctions permanent. In your judgment, do you believe sanctions on Nord Stream 2 should be permanent, or should the pipeline be allowed to be turned on?
Senator, I think Nord Stream 2 is now dead, and as you have said, it is a hunk of metal at the bottom of the sea. I don't think it will ever be revived.
So you don't think it will? So let me reiterate my question. Should the sanctions be permanent as a matter of law, in your judgment?
I don't think it matters one way or the other. I think the pipeline will never come back to
So you're
life.
testifying you have no objections then, and state has no objections to Congress making the sanctions permanent?
We haven't looked at what this would do, but I don't think it's relevant one way or the other.
Well, it is relevant because Biden waived them once in the face of massive congressional pressure.
Senator, if I may,
and put politics ahead of national security, and I believe Putin believes Biden will do it again.
Senator,
When the administration announced sanctions on Russia, it glaringly exempted energy from those sanctions. Now, this morning, the Biden administration listened to calls from me and from many others to finally include a boycott of Russian oil and gas. That was the right thing to do, but it should have been done at the outset. But Europe continues to rely on Russian energy. In your judgment, will our European allies follow suit and also boycott Russian energy?
as you have made clear, Senator, and as we all know, the Europeans have a much higher level of dependence today to heat their homes, to keep the lights on.
Is the Biden administration pressing the Europeans to end their reliance on Russia? And is the Biden administration pressing them to rely on alternative sources, including American energy, which is abundant and doesn't fuel a dictator like Putin?
So among the things that we have done as this crisis was emerging and since it started was to ship more American LNG and to create more global alternatives to Putin's gas going into Europe, as you know.
There are 6 applications pending with the Biden administration to export LNG. None of them have been approved. Do you have any expectations that any of them will be?
So the European LNG terminals right now are at full capacity to receive.
Okay, you're not
One of the things that we are pressing Europe.
Are you going to answer the question?
Can I try to
You can answer the question.
Can I try to answer the question? We have taken advantage of this tragedy to again speak to Europe about its over-reliance on Russian energy.
The question was simple. Do you anticipate the applications to export LNG will be approved? You're not answering that question.
I frankly don't do LNG licensing. I expect that licenses will be approved for as much LNG as can be shipped. That's what I expect. But I don't, have responsibility for that, so I don't actually know how it works. But, Senator, I have to say to you, President Putin was going to launch this vicious, brutal war with or without Nord Stream 2.
That's not what Zelensky told us.
That is my opinion.
That's also not what you said when you testified before this committee.
Time of the senator has expired. Senator Merkley.